my name is Gina Cordum. I'm the English department head here. This is my 8th one act, and I am the assistant director and writer of this show. And normally I'm up here with Jeanette Bach. Jeanette Bach has still been very integral in this production. However, we thought maybe she didn't want to do 5 shows a year, and she heartily agreed with that. And we were lucky enough to get this guy to come back. Who he is, where have you been? Jack Mormon is kind of a legend in New Life Theater. He graduated in 2020, and I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Hey y'all, I'm so happy to be here today. Yeah, my name's Jack Mormon. I was a student at New Life Academy from a year when I was in 4th grade all the way up till 2020, the best year to graduate high school. I've been so blessed to have a slot open in my schedule to come back in and be invited to direct this one act this summer. It might have been even a year ago. Gina and Jeanette came to me with this wonderful story and this wonderful idea to have me come in, and of course immediately I said yes, yes, and then I read the story and I said yes once again. And it's been such a blessing. The New Life community is so welcoming, and it was welcoming while I was here, and it has been the biggest blessing to be a part of while I've been back. So give yourselves a round of applause, because you make it home, even for returning alumni like me.
So if you've been here a few years, you know the one act rules probably as well as me, but if you're new here, my job is always to tell you what is one act. So one act is a Minnesota State High School-y competitive activity. This is our fun performance, okay? This is the one where we don't have to worry about rules and time limits. And I don't write short shows, and so I always make it a problem with time limits, and I'm sorry. So this is really just for us so that we have a warm and welcoming community. But tomorrow, we take the show on the road over to St. Paul Academy, and we perform there. We are the first show to perform. We perform at 10 o'clock. And there's a whole bunch of rules you have to keep in mind. Like I said, the time limit. You can't break anything. You only have 10 minutes to set up. You have to fit your set in like a 10 by 10 box, and there's a whole bunch of other rules. It's 35 pages. If you ever want to read it, I'll send you the link. But yeah, so we have to follow all those rules. We go to subsections, and if we place first or second tomorrow, we move forward into sections. And then the first place team at sections goes on to state. So that is the potential road ahead of us. We would love to see you tomorrow. Once again, there is no admission fee. There's no tickets required. The only thing to remember is that once we start, they lock the doors. So try to be on time, or else you'll be watching it from the lobby and on a little monitor with no sound. And really, it's just not that great of a story without sound, so I recommend coming on time. Jack's gonna tell a little bit about our production concept. If you notice anything in the lobby, we have a little bit of color being mentioned. I heard there's lots of Post-its. Thank you for blessing us with that. We're gonna take them with us tomorrow. That's a really nice thing to warm our hearts. But Jack's gonna talk about the production concept a little bit.
Thank you.
Yep.
Nevermore is the show we're doing. From the very inception of the show, Gina and Jeanette both knew that it was going to be a darker piece, and kind of immediately came to me and said, hey, we know you can rock this. And then said next, how do we find really how Christ shines through this piece? And that has been a central question to me since the beginning, and something we really found a great through line for. And then to the students, New Life, ever since I've been there and far before, has always been filled with plenty of very ambitious, very capable, and very incredible students that have big, bright futures ahead of them. Poe's life, with some tragedy, is very similar to that journey. This show is really a parable, and it shows what do we find our value in? How do we move through life, and what are the things that God blesses us in our life that can inspire the gifts He's given us? And how can we lose our track in life, pursuing fame, pursuing glory, pursuing something beyond what God has so clearly in front of us? In our production, you will see a very monochrome stage at times. I'm sure that'll make more sense once the show begins. But also, we wanted to make a very clear mention and notice of the color. And the color being the things that Edgar Allan Poe found in his life that brought him joy, the gifts that God brought into his life to inspire him, And I hope that you all are able to notice those things, turn on your theater brain, have a good time, but also leave learning from the parable of Edgar Allan Poe and applying it to your own life and seeing where you've been putting your value and finding, especially if you're a student, we just had Decade Dance, Hallway, which was incredible, by the way, nice work. Reassessing, where is my value? And is my value in the Lord? And am I walking in the path that He has before me, or am I trying to chase things that won't lead to a satisfying life?
Right.
So we're really excited for you to get that message and to enjoy this show that the students have just worked so tirelessly over and have just really poured their heart and souls into. We're going to start out with a prayer, and then we're going to dive in. Dear Lord, thank you so much that we all get the opportunity to be here. We get the opportunity to have a school like New Life Academy where we can send our kids and just trust that the Lord is putting His hand of protection over them, Lord. Thank you that we have a theater program where we can talk about Christ and talk about how the Lord works through our artistry. That is a gift that very few in the theater scene have, Lord. So thank you for blessing us with that in our theater, in our sports, in our academics, and just the gift that it is to be here today, for our students to be performing on this stage, and for us to get to give them love and be a lively audience. Please bless these students' performance today and tomorrow as they go into competition. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Nice. Everyone, be nice and lively, be a fun audience. You've heard the talk from Jeanette a billion times. Enjoy Nevermore.
Edgar Allan Poe is dead! He died in Baltimore the day before yesterday. Mr. Poe, a notorious gambler and miscreant, wrote scraps of prose and verse to supplement his need for the drink. In Baltimore, he was seen stumbling in melancholy or madness. He regarded society as composed of villains, and history will know him as an arrogant, unbalanced, dishonorable fool. This announcement will startle many, and few will be grieved by it, but Poe is most certainly dead.
That is how editor and poet Rufus Griswold shared the news of Poe's death in October of 1849.
The mysterious circumstances of the author's death made rumors swirl. Griswold, a longtime rival of Poe, filled in the blanks surrounding the author's death.
Today, almost 2 centuries after his death, the world knows Poe as a master of the dark, the twisted, the macabre, whose death in the Baltimore gutter represents his depraved character.
But what if there was a different version of Master Poe? A man with bright disposition and good humor.
What if he loved?
What if he lost?
What if?
What if?
What if?
He was just like us.
I think he's finally sleeping. The matron said he didn't sleep the whole way from Boston. And to be separated from his brother and sister at that. The poor lamb.
He will be poor if you allow him to stay.
Oh, stop that.
How you could have invited a child into this house without speaking to me first? Fanny, I won't have it. You'll have to have another home.
He will not.
You contradict me.
I don't mean to, John. But you're wrong. The child is ours. I knew from the moment that I met his mother that somehow our lives would align.
That theater woman,
Don't speak of Eliza that way.
waste of a life, that one. Brought away in the theater, which could have made a proper match. Let it find Fanny.
We are keeping Edgar. And tomorrow you will drop the papers to adopt him.
Certainly will not.
John.
No, I won't have it.
Must you deny me this one happiness?
Fine. I'm going to stay. I will papers upbring him, but he will never legally call me his father or you his mother.
Promise you won't tease.
I could never.
I beg your pardon, reader, for the oath the monkeys make me swear, though something loath. I'm not to be discursive in my style, but pray, be patient. Little while will change me, and as politicians do, I'll mend my manners and measures too.
Oh, Edgar, that was marvelous. How talented you are.
It's just some silly poem.
Never belittle poetry, son. Civilizations were built and destroyed off the words of man. You have talent.
You think so?
I know so. I even overheard Mr. Lewitt talking to your father.
Please don't call him that.
He said, the other boys write mechanical verse, but Edgar writes in genuine poetry.
He said that.
He did. I heard it with my own ears. What's wrong?
It's already hard to pursue writing in school. Now, university.
I know it's different, but perhaps university will give you some structure. And besides, your father, Mr. Allen, thinks it's best.
I care not about what he thinks.
Well, he does pay the bills. Keep writing, Edgar. Study, work hard, and write in your spare time. It may not pay the bills one day, but I'm sure there's more than one beautiful young lady who would love to be immortalized by your words.
Thank you, Mother.
I love you dearly, son. So, so dearly.
Oh, I loved alone. Then in my childhood, a dawn of a most stormy life was drawn from every good and ill, the mystery which binds me still.
For God's sake, boys, quit that incessant weeping. You sound like a woman.
She was my mother.
No, she wasn't.
And you saw to that, didn't you?
How dare you speak to me that way? Who fed you, clothed you, and provided for you for years? Who procured your admission to university?
I told you I don't want that!
What you want and what you need are two completely separate issues. A life of writing isn't sustainable. That's presuming you have the talent to succeed.
I've had 2 poetry collections published already. Surely she told you that.
And how many volumes were published? Did you perhaps make any money on them? No, in fact, you lost money, my money. Heaven helps those who help themselves. It's time to do some real work. This is the last conversation I ever want to have about your writing.
And this is the last conversation we ever shall have.
Here's a dish I think you should meet. The name's Pear.
It's Poe, ma'am.
And there are ladies present, Miss Haverdale.
Harry's written upstairs, and I told him my ends are writing out Mecca for wishful writing.
What do you mean?
Same for the editors, the lot of you. Edgar, here's the lads. I'll be off.
So, Perry, was it?
It's Poe's. Edgar A. Poe.
What do you write, Poe?
Poetry mostly, and some prose.
Fiction?
Yes, oh, ma'am.
That's Miss to you, Mr. Poe. Miss Elizabeth Margaret Chandler, poet and author.
Really?
Miss Chandler here fancies herself a writer, Poe.
She joins us in our makeshift salon.
Salon now. Well, you're acting the magnet.
Despite being a woman and unmarried.
And unpublished.
And my esteemed and fellow unknown authors are
James Russell Well. Pleasure.
George Lippard, pleased to meet you.
Thomas Dunn English.
And you, sir?
Rufus Griswold, Master Poe.
Pleasure to meet you all. I'm just staying here until my connections come through.
and who would that be?
The Clem family. I'm not familiar, but I hear they have a room for rent.
So let's get to it. Do you currently earn money by your pen, Mr. Poe, or are you engaged in a less creative field, as the rest of us?
It's true I'm forced to labor during the day. I've been offered an editor's position at Graham's magazine.
Mr. Griswold, wasn't that the spot you's after?
You're mistaken, Miss Haverdale.
I forget nothing when it comes to careers, lad. And I remember you saying just last week.
So, editing. What an exciting job. Good luck to you, sir.
Here's earning the coins to buy the paper.
And the ink.
And the drinks!
Is that 12 midnight already? Blimey, the night's gone quickly. Finish your drinks, I'll be off. Mr. Pearl, I'll send you off to them Clem folk in the morning.
night.
Right this way, Mr. Poe. Have a seat. Oh, make yourself comfortable. Now, have you been eating regularly? Like good, hearty meals?
I wouldn't say they've been regular.
I can tell. Some beef stew should fatten you up a bit.
No, thank you, ma'am. I'm not hungry.
You sound like my Virginia. Never hungry, but wanting food and needing food are unrelated. Right now, you're getting beef stew whether you want it or not.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's Maria to you, young man. Or Mrs. Clem, if you prefer. Even Mama works for me. Lord knows I can be every tenant who comes in through these doors.
Mama! Have you seen my wrap?
What's that, love?
Do you have my wrap? I must cover this. Oh!
Hello.
Hello.
Virginia, meet our new tenant. This here is Mr. Edgar A. Poe, a writer. Mr. Poe, could you fetch that spoon for me, love? Oh, no bother, I'll get it. I see there's no fun stuff in either of you when it comes to eating. Virginia, why don't you have a seat and tell Mr. Poe about life here in town?
Miss Virginia, I assume.
Yes. What brings you to town, Mr. Poe?
I've secured an editor's position at Graham's Magazine.
Grams, my goodness, how prestigious.
I
How
wondered,
long have you... I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
I wondered what it is you enjoy reading.
Oh, scores of things. It's how I spend most of my time, admittedly.
How wonderful.
Here's your wrap, love. Still feeling a bit chill?
Oh, it's nothing.
Is the lady ill?
I'm fine, truly.
Got a touch of something last winter and just hasn't been able to shake it yet. You'll excuse us, Mr. Poe. I think you ought to lie down a bit, Virginia, dear. You look absolutely flushed.
Of course, Mother. It was nice to meet you, Mr. Poe.
Nice to meet you. Virginia. The lady sleeps. Oh, may her sleep, which is enduring, so be deep. Heaven have her in its sacred keep. I pray to God that she may lie forever with unopened eye. How the pale sheet ghosts will lie.
Oh, I know it's a bit early for a toast, but a celebration is in order. Just make sure everything is clear for Edgar when he comes home. You look absolutely beautiful, dear. Thank you.
Oh, hear, hear.
And we're sure this is the right decision?
I made 800 at Graham's last year. With this new position, I'll make nearly twice that, with half the hours.
It's almost too good to be true.
Yes, but those are my scruples. Is it too good to be true?
My dear, with this new position, I'll be able to write more and spend time with you while you recover.
And maybe we can even take a trip to the seaside like Dr. Clark suggested.
That does sound lovely.
Then it's settled. To the newest editor of the Evening Mirror. Cheers! Splendid. Well, if it's satisfactory with you ladies, I've got a bit more celebrating to do. Lippert, English, and a few other friends are meeting at Miss Haverdale's, just like old times.
Don't be too late now, Edgar.
Of course, of course. Love you both.
Okay. A toast to the newest editor of the Evening Mirror.
So when do you start? Oh, never mind that. What's the pay?
Details, my friends. All will be made clear once the offer officially comes through.
Offer?
You mean they haven't offered you the position yet?
Not in writing per se, but I've been made aware that the position is mine.
I understand, Poe. These things take a while to get into writing is all.
You sure you ought to be having such a sesh over something uncertain like?
It's business matters, Mrs. Haverdale. You wouldn't understand.
And who you think be running this in the past 6 years? Have you met a Mr. Haverdale?
Well, I soon found a
certainly have. You're welcome to join us, Miss.
It's Francis, sir.
Francis Sergeant Osgood.
I'm Thomas, Miss Osgood. Thomas Language. Likely you're familiar
So, you certainly seem in high spirits, Mr.
Poe. Edgar Poe.
Edgar.
Oh, Rufus! Oh, come join the party.
with. We're celebrating.
What are we celebrating?
Edgar's been named the newest editor of the Evening Mirror.
How wonderful.
Well, cheers to that, Poe. I myself have just received some good news.
What's that?
I'm the newest editor at Graham's.
That's Edgar's job.
You already put in your notice?
Admittedly, I put in my notice several days ago when talks with the Mirror looked promising. Congratulations, Griswold. They run a fine operation at Graham's. I wish you well.
I owe you some thanks, Poe. Since you vacated your position so hastily, I was able to negotiate a hefty pay raise from the previous salary. So, what do you think? Cheers to our new positions.
So prestigious.
Maybe it's time to be heading back to Virginia?
Mr. Ball, I'll have you pay for that till you'll never step foot in here again.
Pay for it, I will, along with everyone's drinks.
What's wrong with him, Mama? Is he sick? Don't pay any sympathy for him, love. He's sick from his own foolish actions last night. Wake up now.
What is it?
It's afternoon.
And
We thought you might want to eat. Or work. When does your position start at the Evening Mirror?
one at a time, please. I should get a letter with that information today.
Did you have a good time last night?
Too good.
I do wish you wouldn't drink, Edgar.
I know, dear.
It brings out such an ugly side in men. You especially.
I know! I'm sorry!
That must be the letter. Friends of yours, dear?
Griswold. And I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your name, Miss.
How could you, Edgar? It's Francis, remember? We had such fun last night. Is this your family?
Yes, no, I mean, you...
I'm Maria Clem, and this is my daughter, Virginia.
It's a pleasure to meet you both.
Virginia is Edgar's wife of 2 years now.
How lovely.
To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
Well, Miss Osgood here couldn't believe you left last night without saying goodbye. So I thought I'd escort her over here so she could see you.
And you didn't think to remind Miss Osgood that Edgar Poe is a married man?
It must have slipped my mind. I'll get that, shall I?
What were you thinking? Shh.
No one, dear, no one. Message for you, Poe.
It must be from the Evening Mirror.
Maybe the two of you ought to be stepping out.
What's happened, Edgar?
What is it? Dear Mr. E.A. Poe, it has come to our attention that you recently participated in an evening of extreme debauchery which resulted in significant property damage?
Edgar!
In light of this disappointing news, the Evening Mirror has decided to select a more appropriate advisor for our publication.
Well, we ought to be going.
Yes, please.
Good luck to you, Poe. I hope things look up again soon, and if they don't, channel it into your writing, yes?
I knew it. I knew you should stay home last night. Out at all hours, drinking and carousing. And with young single women, no less. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
He made a good point, didn't he?
What's that?
Channel it into your writing.
Channel it into your writing. I was sick, sick unto death with that long agony. And when at length they unbound me and I was permitted to sit, I could feel my senses leaving me.
Down!
Steadily down it crept, to the right, to the left, far and wide.
With the shriek of a spirit, to my heart with the stealthy pace of the tiger. Down, certainly, relentlessly down. It vibrated within 3 inches of my bosom. I struggled violently, furiously to free my left arm.
Down, still unceasingly, still inevitably down. It was then that the Prince Prospero, maddened with rage and shame of his own momentary cowardice,
Rushed
hurriedly through the 6 chambers, while none followed him on account of the deadly terror that had seized upon all.
He bore aloft a drawn dagger. Ah! There was a sharp cry, and the dagger fell gleaming upon the good sable carpet, upon which instantly afterward, while prostrate in death, the Prince Prospero. And now was acknowledged the presence of the Red Death. He had come like a thief in the night.
A very good joke. A very good joke indeed. An excellent jest.
We will have many a rich laugh about this at the palazzo over wine.
The Amontillado.
Yes, the Amontillado. But is it not getting late? Will they not be awaiting us at the palazzo? Please, let us be gone.
Yes, let us be gone.
For the love of God, Montresor!
And yet the sound increased. But what could I do?
It was a low, dull, quick sound, like such a sound as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. And it grew louder, louder, louder! And still the men chatted pleasantly, and they smiled. Was it possible they heard not? Almighty God! No, no, they heard! They knew, they suspected. They were making a mockery of my horror! I felt that I must scream or die! And now, horror, louder, louder, louder! It was hope, hope that triumphed on the decay, that whispered death, and never even over. This is the good report. Here are I and here's the beating of him. Is that his new story? Yes. Oh my goodness, this is so exciting. I can't. Wow, look at that. Oh my goodness. So interesting. It is. It's Master Poe. Sir, what are you working on?
It's a story.
I hope there's plenty of death in it.
My mother's tales are a bad influence on my sister, but I like them.
Griswold, my goodness, it's good to see you. Are you quite all right, sir?
Yes, just gathering my thoughts. My apologies.
You have mine. I heard of your wife's passing several months ago.
Obliged.
Are you still writing?
Editing, mostly. I'm currently working on publishing a collection of all-female poetry.
My goodness, what a novel idea.
It's mind-numbing. Personally, I believe women to be incapable of the same kind of intellectual poetry as men.
I see.
And you? I see your scribblings. Another work of macabre literature, or perhaps another charming detective story.
Detective story.
How quaint.
I was wondering if I could set up a meeting with you, sir. As you know, Virginia has fallen ill again, and I have several new stories.
I'm sorry, Poe. Heaven helps those who help themselves. Do some real work. Create something profitable. If you ask me, perhaps it's time you return to your poetry, Edgar.
Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many quaint and unique volumes of forgotten lore. While I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as if someone gently rapping on my chamber door.
'Tis some visitor,
I muttered.
tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more.
Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating, then no longer.
Sir,
Said I,
or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is, I was napping, and so gently you came tapping, and so faintly you came rapping at my chamber door.
Wide the door, darkness there and nothing more. Back into my chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again, I heard the tapping, somewhat louder than before.
Surely,
Said I,
surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see what the rats in this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment in this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind and nothing more.
open wide I flung the shutter, when with many a flit and flutter, in stepped a stately raven from the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, not with mine, or lord, or lady. He perched above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more.
Will thy crest be shorn and shaven now?
I said,
Unsure of the craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on night Plutonian shore.
quoth the raven.
Nevermore.
But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word. As if in this one word, his soul he did outpour. Nothing further than he muttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered.
Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before.
Quoth the raven.
Nevermore.
And methought the air grew denser, as if perfumed by some unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tuft floor.
Wretch!
I cried,
If by God hath lent thee, by these angels he has sent thee, respite, respite, and a pet name, forget thy memories of Lenore. No, no. Quaff, oh quaff this kind of pet name, forget this lost Lenore.
quoth the raven.
Nevermore.
Prophet!
I said,
Thing of evil, prophet still, inquiet bird, or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, till the soul was sorrow laden, if within the distant age it shall clasp a sainted maiden whom the angels name Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore.
quoth the raven.
Nevermore.
Be that word, our sign of parting, bird or fee,
I shrieked, upstarting.
get thee back into the tempest of the night Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as token of the lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken and quit the bust above my door. Take thy pain from off my heart and take thy form from off my door.
Quoth the raven.
Nevermore.
And the raven, never flitting still, is sitting on the placid bust of palace just above my chamber door. And his eyes, with all the seeming of a demon that is streaming. And the
And the lamplight o'er him that is streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. Virginia, you'll never believe it. The Evening Mirror. The Evening Mirror has posted the raven. Here's an advance, $9.
It's Virginia.
It's just another bad spell.
This is no spell.
Here I am.
Eddie, how good that you are back.
How are you?
Not well, I'm afraid.
Rest. Rest now. Rest will do you good.
But what if it won't this time? Mr. Griswold, I'm sorry, but now is not a fitting time to visit my Virginia.
Oh dear, still doing poorly?
The worst.
Sadly, that explains the purpose of my visit. Master Poe has exhibited some literary success as of late, and a hearty sum could be made upon his words. However, if he is to keep company with one in such poor health, his future must be considered.
I'm sorry, sir, I just can't be bothered by this at the moment. Excuse me. What do you need? More broth? Words. What's that? Words are all I need now.
I was a child, and she was a child. in this kingdom by the sea. We loved with the love that was more than love. I and my Annabelle Lee. With the love that winged seraphs in heaven coveted her and me. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those older than me, of many far wiser than me. And neither angels in heaven nor demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabelle Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabelle Lee. For the stars never rise, but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabelle Lee. And so all the night tide, I lie down by the side. My darling, my life and my bride. In her sepulture there by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea.
No! Virginia! No! Please go! Please! Let me go!
Give it here now. If you've no sense to speak, you've no need to drink. Blessed shame you are, Edgar. It's a tragedy what happened to your wife, love. But that was 2 years ago now. What you been doing with your time since you lost her? Like I said then, blessed shame.
And then did you see that evidence look that I did not care?
Maybe this love can talk some sense into you.
Poe, what a surprise.
We're celebrating George's latest publication.
He's had a short story published with an order for 2 more.
Congratulations.
I suppose we ought to be going somewhere else, then.
Farewell.
Griswold, Miss Osgood,
How nice to see you.
and you. What's the occasion?
George has had a short story.
Silence! Fool! He doesn't really care.
No, I don't.
Congratulations, Mr. Lippert.
Thank you, ma'am.
And Master Poe is still here. Why, I believe you were sitting in this exact position when I saw you last. What was that, Francis? 2 weeks ago?
Sounds likely.
Why so down, chap? Money problems again? How pathetic.
You know quite well what troubles me.
Let's go, Mr. Griswold. What's happened, Edgar?
This scoundrel has cheated me out of my own legacy.
What's this about, Griswold?
He's become my... I can't even say it!
I've been named Poe's literary executor in the event of his untimely death, that is.
That's impossible.
Not at all. 2 years ago, his mother-in-law signed as a witness that Poe wishes for me to oversee his financial profits and his literary legacy if he were to die.
She did not, she couldn't.
You saw the signatures yourself, Poe. You know that she did.
This cannot be legal. Edgar, can't you fight it?
Well, he could try.
Shut up!
Only if he can't get sober long enough to find a lawyer that will listen to him. It's truly a shame what's happened to you, Edgar. I'm sorry.
This cannot stand! You ought to be thanking me, chap. I'm doing more with your name than you are these days.
Ah!
Have you heard about that Poe fellow? Yes. Ah! Watch yourself, sir. So rude.
All that we see or
You
see
loved with a love that was more than
Nevermore.
is but a dream within a
Once
dream.
upon a midnight
I was a child and she was
I
a
was never
child.
kinder to the old man than the week before I killed him.
Nevermore! I pondered weekend here. My love is life.
Ponce requiescat!
Sir! Are you all right, sir?
Lord, help my poor soul.
Edgar was taken to hospital where he ranted and raved for several days until he died of unknown causes. He was 40 years old.
Rufus Griswold was the first to capitalize off of Poe's death, publicizing and slandering him.
Edgar Allan Poe is dead! This announcement will startle many, and few will be grieved by it.
In Griswold's narrative, Edgar's nemesis was alcohol. It was his personal devil which unlocked a trove of madness, but in his madness, his genius.
In death, Poe became a literary success. His writings earned more than they ever had in his lifetime. And had he lived, he would have become a very rich man. But those riches fell to Rufus Griswold instead.
Years later, someone paid a visit to Griswold. Frail and weakened from opium, he talked non-stop about his newest project, and he could hardly hold a pen.
Get away from me!
I can see you're very busy, so I just wanted to share the purpose of my visit, a thought I had recently. I never signed that document, and we both knew who did. And the irony is this. Your plan backfired. Your lies have turned Edgar into the legend that he is today. And when you die, your name will be nothing but a footnote in the story of Edgar Allan Poe.
Poe's funeral was a rushed Baltimore affair, held just one day after his death.
Aside from a distant cousin, no family was present.
Thanks to Griswold, the image of Poe as a deranged alcoholic, obsessed with the macabre, persisted into death.
When his friends tried to publicize the Edgar they knew, one editor told them, when the legend becomes fact.
Print the legend.